Let's go. Welcome back to Two Marks and a Spark right here on Lock 22 on the YouTube as well as TikTok now. That's a new thing that we're doing. Russ, that means me and you can't sit here and yell at each other for 3 hours anymore.
Okay, that's all right.
TikTok's got a 1 hour limit.
We'll just have to we'll have to restrain ourselves. We've been doing pretty good lately on that.
Well, the WrestleMania shows. For those of you watching on TikTok, just so you know, our WrestleMania shows are usually like 2.5 hours. So that's going to be two parts, just so you know.
It'll have to be. Yep.
Uh, but Russ, pretty good week of wrestling, all things considered.
Yes.
I want to start out by talking about the news this week that, well, we found out last week that Raw is going down to 2 hours. Sounds like when Raw leaves the USA Network, SmackDown will go to three.
That's what I understand.
Uh, Okay, I get it from the USA Network's perspective. The USA
That
Network's perspective of this is we want 3 hours of wrestling. We don't care which show it is. We just want 3 hours. And
that's
I
right.
wonder if WWE just said, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Now, this move is not official. This is a rumor right now. So who knows? Maybe it doesn't happen.
Okay. There's another rumor which may or may not be official, but you might know more about it, and that is the date at which NXT will be moving to the CW network.
That's October 1st. That's official.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we don't pay that much attention to NXT, but just good to know that if you want to see Chelsea Green, you're going to have to probably check out the CW because he's pretty much moved over to NXT now.
Well, the interesting thing about the CW deal is they've really jammed that show up in terms of talent that they're putting on that first show. That show's going to be in Chicago on the first. And the interesting thing is they've really kind of booked it heavy. They booked Trick Williams and Ethan Page in the main event with CM Punk as the referee. So they
Right.
are clogging. They put Julia in a match against Roxanne Perez on that show. So they are loading up that show. I assume they will load up the first Raw on Netflix as well, in a very similar style.
Yep.
Um, the interesting thing to me right now, Russ, in terms of what they're going to do with NXT, is does NXT go back to an hour when they move to the CW? I don't think so.
I know.
That roster's too big.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people.
Yes, they do.
They got a lot of people in NXT. I know, and me and you have shit on NXT in the past. We have been known.
It's better though than it used to be. It's a lot better in recent weeks.
Remember when NXT 2.0 was a thing and me and you would sit here and just be like,
Yeah. It was pretty
so
bad.
that happened. That was real.
Yep.
Fuck.
It was pretty bad.
What wasn't bad, Russ, was this Raw show.
Raw. Pretty good show. And this was we got a little bit more of the soap opera with the New Day. That's been building up for the last several months, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Well, this show starts with CM Punk, and CM Punk was in a bad mood as usual.
Yeah.
And he was not really in the silly, goofy mood he was in the next night on NXT. Because the funny thing is, not only was Punk on this Raw show, he turned around, went to Florida, and was on NXT the next night.
That's right.
So that was kind of weird for him, only because if you think about it, since Punk has come back, when he's been on NXT, it's been A, very sparse, and B, he's usually not on Raw the night before.
Right.
He was here, and the interesting thing about this was how pissed off he was. And then if you go and watch his NXT promo, he's like this happy,
Right.
cheery, fucking
But he's really, really pissed off at Drew McIntyre.
yeah.
He was
He
naive in thinking it was over just because he touched four corners in a bull rope match. Well, I said that at the time. I said, this ain't over.
yeah, you were right. Everybody who thought that was right. And Punk goes off and just goes on this tirade about how much he hates Drew McIntyre, how McIntyre's going to have to kill him and make him, and Punk's going to make McIntyre bleed. Very good promo.
Yeah,
And if we don't see blood in this match, I will be disappointed.
that's right. Uh, we're used to seeing it at pay-per-views with the WWE, but we see it, AEW, they have it like every Wednesday night in the first match.
And then we had actually a very solid opening match to Raw, which was Sheamus and Pete Dunne.
Always a good match.
These two are incapable of having a bad match.
Pete
So
Dunne, Pete Dunne wins with a brogue kick, and this was a good start.
Dunne getting the win, and this match felt a little short, if anything, but it was good. No surprise. Uh, and then we had Zoe Stark and Natalia. This match should have been so much more.
It was very short and to the point. To tell you one,
Yeah,
it could
and
have
it
been a lot
wasn't
better.
very good.
It could have been a lot better. I think Zoe Stark's over. I would have liked to see her get the win. It would have made more sense to me.
It would have made more sense, and it would have pushed the younger talent. And then instead, what did they do? They just gave Natalia an easy win. What was great though was the promo we got after this, which was Jey Uso and Braun Breaker.
Pretty good. This was the best promo I've seen Jey Uso do in quite a long time, and I thought that the personal nature of it. Those of you didn't see it, he got real personal. He said that your run at the Intercontinental title may end up being as brief as your NFL career. That was a great line. And if you didn't know it, you could look it up. Go ahead and Google it. He, under his real name, he definitely had a brief, like a lot of pro wrestlers, have
Brief
had a
stint in the NFL.
had a brief NFL stint. I know Roman Reigns was in the CFL for a year or two.
Played at Georgia Tech, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Correct. Yeah, this was a great promo. Very well done. And it makes Braun Breaker a lot more interesting to me. He's a little bit less of a one-dimensional character. They're letting him talk a little more. And I think it's good development.
Well, then we had what may be the end of the New Day, I think.
Something they've been teasing for a while. And we at least see the next chapter on the ongoing story. Uh, Xavier's frustration is starting to boil over. It's a storyline we've seen done before many times, but I think it's something interesting to do with the New Day. I didn't realize it'd been 10 years they'd been around.
It's been longer. It's been like 11 or 12 even. Anyway, the Judgment Day retain the titles as you would expect in their tag title defense against the New Day
Right.
because it seems like the New Day are probably breaking up.
We
Then
had
we
outside
had,
interference from the Latino World Order.
yep,
That's what bothered Xavier Woods because he had gone out of his way to make sure the Judgment Day did not get involved, didn't want any outside interference. And so the root of the cause is a lack of communication between the two tag team partners and the growing frustration of the one who's obviously the one that's getting ready to turn heel. I think it's a safe bet that Kofi is not going to be the one that's going to turn heel. It's going to be Xavier Woods.
Rationally speaking, yes. And
Yes.
then we had Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman
Yeah,
in the most fucking incredible big man brawl possible.
that's
The
right.
ring, the ring fell apart.
That was good.
Bronson Reed threw a man,
Yes.
just a
Uh,
guy,
and look, he allegedly he picked up a fan from the front row and threw him. You know, the wrestling news. This guy that he did that was actually a ringer. They don't actually throw people from the audience. The guy was I forget the name, but he is a wrestler, in at least a wrestler in training. That'd be a fun way to get on TV, though, wouldn't it?
hey, imagine you get cast as an extra for this thing, and they're
Yeah,
like, hey, so this big dude, Australian guy, he's going to pick you up out of the front row, and he is going to use you as a projectile.
yep. And he pretty much did too.
What would your response to that be, Russ? He's gonna do what?
I'd say, well, I'd say, how much am I getting paid?
$5 and a hot dog, kid.
No, no, not going to do it. Definitely not going to do it. He'd want to grab someone lighter than me. But I thought it was well done. Bronson Reed is come such a long ways, and
He's so over.
yeah, he is. He's getting over. Very, very impressive guy. He's the
And
monster of the moment.
and when when Reed throws this guy, Tessitore has this great line. He says, Bronson Reed just lawn darted a human being.
Yeah, right.
That was great. Tessitore's awesome. He's just
Yes,
awesome.
I really like his approach. It just feels different. It's something really unique, and I'm really liking it. It's just a little bit different kind of a voice for Monday Night Wrestling.
It's totally different. And I think that's why people didn't like it at first, because it's like, oh, this is just weird. This is different. Then we had a Sami Zayn promo.
Yeah,
Not his best promo for sure, but it was good. They're teasing him and Gunther again
with our good friend Ludwig.
with our good friend Ludwig Kaiser.
Yes.
Uh, then we had arguably a match of the year candidate kind of out of nowhere.
Are you talking about Bianca Belair versus the genius of the sky, as they call her?
Yeah,
Io Sky. Yes.
this was very randomly fucking incredible.
Yes. And I didn't expect Io Sky to win, which made the ending more entertaining. Uh, yeah, overall, this moved along really quick. It was really good, and I think they're definitely the two strongest members of their representative tag teams for sure.
I mean, Kyrie Sane's really damn good. So it's hard to say who's better between those two. But Bianca is definitely better than Jade Cargill. And people that compare those two, shut up.
I think that Jade Cargill is the attraction. She's the muscle, whereas the Bianca is the worker. You know what I mean? Male tag teams have been doing that same formula forever. It's just a female version of the same formula, and it can be done very well. I think Jade is a much better wrestler than when she was in AEW, and that's not saying that she's a great wrestler at this point.
Well, then we had,
Although in my opinion, she always looks really good. She looks, I tend to like my females kind of soft and squishy, but she's not soft and squishy, but she definitely looks good. Go
well,
ahead.
then we had A match between a man who is not soft and squishy and a man that is. Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio,
Yes. Both these guys have come so far in the last couple of years.
haven't they?
Yes, they have. Uh,
And with Priest having the match at the pay-per-view and Dominic apparently not going to, it made sense for Priest to win here.
yeah.
And he does in a very good match.
Well, also, I think to all of those people that a couple of years ago that were saying that Dominic was never going to get over,
How wrong was that?
how wrong were they? Well, I knew he had it in him, and he has come so far so fast.
There were
Very, very.
people,
He's one of the most impressive heels they have in the company right now.
yeah, but let's not forget it wasn't that long ago. There were people calling him a bust and saying he was never going to pan out.
That's right. I
And
tell you, it's a good thing that the fans aren't booking the show because it would suck even more than it does.
and believe me, it's not always good, but
Yes.
this time it was.
Yeah. Well, then after the match too, then we had all of the outside. We had JD McDonough and Carlito and we had Braun Breaker and Jay Uso and everybody running down there to for a big conglomeration. But just kind of leading on to the upcoming show, which
Well,
will be Bad Blood on the 5th of October.
yeah, about 2 weeks.
Right, I
About
believe you
two,
are correct. It's actually a week from Saturday, this coming Saturday.
as we record this, yes.
Yes, as we are recording today. Yeah, Raw was pretty good show overall. I would definitely give it a good solid B, I think.
I'd give it an A minus. I thought it was a great show. What was not as great, unfortunately, AEW Dynamite.
Well, we had a little bit too much Orange Cassidy and Jericho, in my
A
opinion. Of
little.
course, that was the first match, which is one I don't know about you, but it's not one I was really excited to see. I know Orange Cassidy, he's on the upward trajectory, and Chris Jericho's on the opposite trajectory in their career. But I'm not excited to see either one of them at this point.
Nor am I. It was,
Chris Jericho's doing a lot of bad comedy.
yep.
And I can say that because he used to do really, really good comedy.
Yeah, he did. And
That's
this
right.
show just wasn't anything special, unfortunately.
Right.
The best thing we got out of this show was the Moxley, the furthering of the Blackpool Combat Club angle, and then the whole furthering of really several angles here, including Nigel
Right.
and Brian and all this stuff. But there's really nothing to talk about on this Dynamite show.
Ricochet is he's doing all right. I think he's having some good matches.
Him and
Uh
Osprey is going to be awesome.
yes, I do. He wrestled this luchador, the Beast Mortos. He's been around a lot lately, and my first impression is, oh, another goofy looking monster mask. But the guy's a good worker. Whoever he is, he actually is quite good. And that was a fairly good match. Uh, we did have Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay versus the Elite. Was that was our main event?
Yep. That was
All
actually a
right.
fairly good match, too.
Yes, it was. That was the best part of the show, I thought.
The Bucks stayed out of the way, which helped.
Yes, yes, they did.
So,
They were there, but it wasn't too bad. Don Callis family won. Uh,
which they needed to.
But they're not all getting along yet.
Well, and I don't think
Will
they will. They needed
Ospreay
to
is
leave.
not getting along with Takeshita, also known as Takeshita. No, we didn't have no MJF this week. I don't believe. I believe he was gone.
He's gonna be gone for a while. He's taking time off.
All right.
Something that came out, I don't know if it was today. I saw it today as we record this. We're recording this on Sunday. Um, Sounds like Cody Rhodes is going to have a live music entrance at the pay-per-view.
Really? I wonder who.
Well, it's been announced. It's going to be the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluffs. Their band is going to do it. Because their band, I guess, played his entrance music last month and it went viral. I didn't see it. I haven't seen the video. Apparently, it was awesome.
Yeah,
So that band is going to do it, which I'm fine with that. But WWE doesn't do live music entrances outside of WrestleMania
that's right.
or NXT takeovers when they used to do those. So,
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing that for a while, but the most memorable one to me was didn't Motorhead play Triple H in one time?
yeah, but that was at
Back
WrestleMania.
when, back when Lemmy was still alive.
That was at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So this is at Bad Blood, which is a B pay-per-view, but if you look at this card, it's not a B pay-per-view. I mean,
Oh, it's not. This is going to be a good card. I'm looking forward to this show.
the Bad Blood is a stacked pay-per-view, and we kind of
Well,
figured it.
just
And
the
if you
main
just looked
event,
at the calendar, you kind of
just
figured it was going to
just
be,
the Hell
but
in the Cell with Punk and Drew McIntyre. That to me is that in itself is worth the price of admission.
the funny thing about this show, when they announced it, we were like, okay, well that could be a big show, and you look at the calendar and like who's going to be back around then,
Right.
and then
Well, we
you
haven't
start
had
looking
Bad
at it.
Blood for about 18, 17 years, something like that. So you kind of we
Yeah, but
kind
it
of
was
totally
always a
forgot about
B show,
it.
dude.
Right.
It always was.
Maybe it won't be from now on. Maybe it'll move up a little bit more.
Though it doesn't really feel like WWE's been doing B shows this year. Like it
Right.
feels like they've been doing A shows and then A minus shows.
Right. We'll let the NXT they can do the B shows, you know,
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing either. That's just their place in the structure of things.
Well, Russ, this SmackDown show, in terms of wrestling matches, might not have been the best thing ever, but in terms of video package, it had maybe one of the greatest video packages of all time. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about that Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns thing. If you haven't seen it, go find it,
This
folks.
we in the past we had introduced in recent years what they would call cinematic matches. I would call this our first cinematic promo.
And it was fucking great.
It was a very, very huge production.
It was
Yeah,
incredible.
well, I'll let you explain the setup there for our
Okay,
listening
okay.
audience.
So I don't remember exactly how they set it up, but I swear they went to commercial forever right before this. They were in commercial for an exceedingly long time. And they come back and the screen's black for a second, and then they show the Georgia Tech football field, which is where Roman Reigns played football. And it was pitch black outside. You could have legitimately believed that they shot this live. They didn't, but you could
Right,
have believed it if they told you they did.
right.
And Roman and Cody meet at midfield, and these two, dude,
This was good. This was very good.
and they have these interladen shots of like Roman playing at Georgia Tech and Cody's family at the Omni, and like all these different great shots that I don't even know where they got them from, but they got them. And it's just boom, 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 boom. And it's only like 5 minutes, but I swear they did like a month worth of build in and 5 minutes here because
I mean, the photography was blocked out so well, the aerial photography, that they obviously, I mean, they don't have cranes anymore. I'm sure they're all drones, but
it was so well
beautifully
shot,
done.
so well shot. And I don't know whose idea this was. I don't care whose idea this was. Give them a raise.
It was somebody who's got a good sense of, how to put together a dramatic presentation, cinematically.
This was shot like a movie.
This is somebody who knows how to do good TV.
This was shot so well.
Yeah,
And the thing I liked about it is there was nobody ran down, nobody came onto the field with them. There was nothing, no big hoopla about it, no entrance music, none of that. It was just Cody and Roman standing on the 50-yard line
yes.
on each side of the Georgia Tech logo. And
Very nicely done.
dude,
And then it just without any physical confrontation, it just fades. It just fades away, and then we cut to Kevin Owens sitting somewhere backstage watching what we just watched.
looking confused as all hell.
Right.
Just like, what the fuck was that? Kevin Owens just watched this and went, what the fuck?
Right.
Why wasn't I invited?
Yes.
By the way, heel Cody Rhodes is going to be incredible.
Oh yeah. I think you're right.
Me and Devlin were talking about that this week. Like, heel Cody, because he was kind of a heel in that promo. In like a really kind of backwards way, he was a heel.
Yeah.
Because Roman didn't feel like a heel here at all.
I hear you.
Was I, am I wrong that Roman felt like the good guy here?
God, kind of did feel that way.
Like, is Cody the babyface? Are we sure Cody is a babyface? Are we sure Cody's a babyface?
Right. We're not 100% sure.
Is he a good guy? Like, what the
Right.
fuck's going on here? The best match of this show, really.
It was not Apollo Crews versus Giovanni Vinci.
No, it was LA Knight versus Andrade,
Yeah, that's what we opened up with.
and it was
By the way,
fantastic.
they are burying Vinci? When's the last time Apollo Crews beat anybody? It's been a while.
Second Tuesday of last month
Yeah.
or last week or
Yes, and Andrade and LA Knight, that was a good match.
that's a
LA
very good
Knight won
match.
by pinfall. And they had a post-match show of respect with the handshake, which is always nice to see. But so you thought that the first match was the best match of the show?
Yeah, I thought the 6-man tag at the end of the show was okay, but
Right. We didn't have a tornado tag team. Those are always a confusing mess, aren't they?
aren't they ever? So,
Excuse me.
what did you make of the um what do you make of SmackDown now with the rumor that it's going to 3 hours?
Well, I think that they've got enough wrestlers that are over on their roster to do that, and I think they could expand to 3 hours. And
I mean, if okay, here's the thing.
I'm not a huge fan of 3 hour shows, but if they're going to do it, I'll try to make the best of it. It's not like we're gonna get to watch one less hour of wrestling each week because they're shortening Raw. They're just gonna add it on to SmackDown, you know?
And God forbid they added on to NXT. Oh, Jesus, no.
Yeah, that wouldn't work out so good.
Dude, if I have to watch 3 hours of NXT, I think I'll fucking. So, Russ, we have a pay-per-view in 2 weeks, and then we have a pay-per-view the week after that. Next week's a normal show. That'll go up normal time.
Right. Yeah, we got
Um,
Bad Blood and Russell Dream coming up, and then a month from then we got Crown Jewel.
where we're gonna start watching wrestling at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's right. That's right.
And, and hopefully be done with it by 3. Uh,
Yeah, that's
or
right.
4. Who knows? Well, Russ, what did you think the best show this week was? I thought it was Raw.
Uh,
In terms of pure wrestling, I thought it was Raw.
yeah, I would say so. Raw, in terms of production values, I would say SmackDown. In terms of wrestling content, Monday Night Raw.
And if you like goofy, stupid shenanigans where Jeff Jarrett gets beaten up, Dynamite.
Matter of fact, I believe Jeff Jarrett has got a feud coming up with the Cowboy, Adam Page.
Yeah, fuck.
The Hangman, Adam Page, going to do some cowboy shit with Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett is going to do what is very capable of doing at this point in his career, and that's putting the guy over, giving him a good match.
Jeff Jarrett is how old? Hold on.
He's got to be in his 50s. I'm going to guess and say 55.
Close, 57.
Okay,
Jeff Jarrett is 57 years old. I know he's gone broke, what, 3 times?
could be.
But he's been in AEW forever.
Yep.
Let's not act like he just got to AEW anymore. Jeff Jarrett has been in AEW for a
For a
long
while, yes,
time.
he has been.
And God damn it, I don't know the last time Jeff Jarrett did anything good.
Well, let's see. He had some good matches against Razor Ramon in 1995
Wrong
when
company, brother.
he was Double DJ Jeff Jarrett. I saw one of those in Des Moines. It was very entertaining. But that's
Wrong
been
company.
like 1995. That's been a while ago.
Wrong company.
Yeah. Yep. No, I guess that would have been more like about 95 or 96, something like that.
Wrong company.
Yep. I just remember when I first heard of him, I'd read about him in the magazines, but I'd never seen him on TV until he came to the WWE in 1994, I believe it was, right prior to WrestleMania 10. And yeah, that's when they had the Road Dogg.
Road Dogg, Jesse James, badass Billy Gunn.
That's right, the New Age Outlaws. Hey, speaking of which, Daddy asked, this is another here's a tag team that seems to be kind of down on their luck and not having
The
any direction
acclaimed?
right now is the Acclaimed.
To say
It's-
they're down on their luck is not saying much.
they're kind of spinning their wheels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know they're wearing like more black and everything now and trying to look badder and tougher and everything, but verbally it's not getting across, and I'm not so sure. I don't think it's really getting across in the ring either. They're getting kind of lost in the shuffle there. Another one, hey, if anybody would have told Jay White or Juice Robinson what was going to happen to their career by coming to AEW, I wonder if they would have gone someplace else if they could have, because this AEW has not been helpful to their career. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, dude. Okay, listen, I'm not selling my Jay White stock.
Right,
By the way, to anybody who's considering selling their stock in Jay White, don't do it. Hold, hold,
right.
hold. Do not sell.
Oh
Hold.
yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back, and he definitely. I mean, think how now we've got. He would be making a difference in this title reign of Bryan Danielson too if he were around and were healthy. I'm sure those would be some excellent matches.
Jay White's going to be fine because you know what's going to happen? Either he'll start getting pushed in AEW, don't count on it, or he'll leave, go to Japan for 2 years, come back and go to WWE.
Right, right,
One of the two is going to happen, folks. Jay White is fucking inevitable. This guy's going to be fine.
right.
God damn it if this is not a temporary roadblock.
Yeah, right. Also read that Miro has asked for his release.
Third
He's
time.
asked for early release.
Third time.
Third time, I don't think they're going to let him go then, probably.
Okay, so here's what happened. He asked
I,
for his release before CJ Perry got there.
right,
He actually did it twice, I believe, before she got there. Now they're getting divorced. She's gone.
right,
And now he's asked for his release.
right. I think that the guy has
The,
been underused, you know.
but okay, I agree, but here's why. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to lose to
Oh
anybody.
well, you see, that's a problem.
He has reportedly said that doesn't work for me, brother, quite a
Well,
bit.
well, then that doesn't work for me, brother, because that's too bad. Because I thought the Miro gimmick and character was an interesting idea that they could have really done something with it. It was a unique character. He was a
But the
religious
problem
fanatic.
is,
He was a religious fanatic who sometimes fought with God and sometimes alongside God, but he was basically nuts and he was a good wrestler. But we'd see him for about 2 weeks and then he was gone. Apparently, because like he didn't want to work with anybody.
but if you don't, if you're not willing to lose, it's hard to book you.
That's right. He doesn't have the star power of a Hulk Hogan, who got away with that shit constantly throughout his career.
Russ, that would be like if me and you were doing this show, and every time you said you wanted to talk about something, which you do frequently, and you know what? We usually do it 9 times out of 10. But every time you said you wanted to talk about something, guess what I said? That
What?
don't work.
That's not good. That's not going to work for me, brother,
Matt, dude, this show wouldn't work. Do you know why?
because that wouldn't work for me, brother.
Because that won't work for me, bro.
That's right. That's right. Well, he is in the news a lot lately. I know this isn't a political show. My brother and I are doing a political commentary show on Lock 22 if you want to look it up. But Hulk Hogan he has publicly, his mouth has written some checks in public that now his ass is having to cash, and he's not enjoying the humiliation that's going along with it, you know.
Oh, no, 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 no.
You know what I
Dude,
mean?
Hulk Hogan has got to be one of the dumbest sons of bitches alive, doesn't he?
Well, I came up with this beer, brother, to bring the country together. This beer is good. The real American beer is good. That was, he said the beer is going to bring the people together. We're going to stop fighting about politics and we're going to drink Hulk Hogan's great American beer. Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It writes itself, doesn't it?
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Great, great American beer, great American my ass. All right. Uh,
One more news story.
oh, what's that?
The NWA apparently has found a home. They have found a studio in Tampa, Florida, which will seat approximately 150 fans. And they are going to, when they're able to, they are going to start recording studio wrestling again. And I hope it goes well for them. I mean, I wish them well. It's Billy Corgan, in the NWA. It's been a fascinating chapter in their history.
No, okay. Here's the thing. It's fascinating, but it's also completely Billy Corgan's fault that this thing has fallen apart.
That's from the majority of what I have read. It seems to point the fingers at him, definitely.
See, so here's what happened, okay? Right before AEW started, the NWA had a lot of momentum, okay? Because they had Nick Aldis, they had Cody Rhodes,
Right,
they had a whole bunch of talent that they had Pac very briefly. So they had all this talent that me
yeah,
and you give credit to all the time for being great. How often do me and you praise Pac's matches?
right.
All the time.
They even had
Before
they even had Trevor Murdoch, dude.
they had Trevor Murdoch, th-
And
even at that time.
yeah,
And they were staying away from people like EC3 and Titus and these guys that are known backstage problems. And most importantly, they had a top guy who everybody got behind in Nick Aldis.
right.
And that was always the argument for the NWA, right? Was, well, it may be a little bumpy on the lower end of the card, but the main event is firm.
Yes.
It's solid. It's
Yep.
good. They don't have that anymore
Right.
because Billy Corgan has pissed off everybody that ever tried to help him.
It's unfortunate.
Look at what's happened in the last, you know, I'll say 3 years. What did Nick Aldis do last year? Nick Aldis saw the writing on the wall
He got the hell out of there.
and he said, Billy, dude, this isn't going to work. Like, thank you for everything you've done, but this isn't it, dude. And
Yeah.
he pointed to the same things I did. Titus, EC3, among others.
Titus is what the hell was his name in WWE?
Brodus
What?
Clay.
Brodus Clay, thank you. Titus, I never watched a lot of NWA when he was champion there, but and what I read in the wrestling news I'd see online, he was never making news stories for his work in the ring. He was making the headlines for things that were said and done behind the scenes. And he was always fussing with somebody about something. And it seemed like he was always bitching and complaining about something too, kind of like Ryback was all the time. Al-
Now,
Always something to complain about.
now, am I saying they can never get this thing back on track? No.
Oh, of course not.
Wrestling companies have gotten much lower than the NWA is right now and survived.
Sure.
But I don't think the NWA has a lot of gas left in the tank because they don't have the star power anymore. They don't have really anything to build around. And if you want to say they're going to build around Titus, I want to remind you Titus spends more time on Fox News than he does in a wrestling ring.
Right. That's every time I'm flipping through channels, that's where he's at on Fox News, usually saying something that I strongly disagree with most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, you know. But you also got to remember that the NWA, those three letters carry a lot of historic importance. The historical lineage of the NWA, and I don't feel that the organization as it stands now, I mean, it's not, they've got the same name, but because of corporate things that have happened and ownership and that, I don't think they can really claim that historical lineage that goes all the way back to 1915 or whatever, 19 whatever.
They've got the belt, which is the
Yeah,
only thing maybe keeping them afloat, really,
right.
is that belt.
But
Look,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
what do they have other than that belt?
Right now, that's all they have. That's it.
That belt is worth more than probably the entire company.
Yes.
Scary
Yes.
situation because here's the thing. Billy Corgan's got money ad nauseum.
Well, I think he had money before he ever got in the wrestling business. He made money in the music business, and
Still
he
making
was,
money in the music business.
what's that?
He's still making money in the music
Well,
business.
yeah, because he was unlike most young artists, he never sold his songs. He owns his own catalog, so he makes money every time one of his songs is used in a 30-second advertisement during a football game, he gets a paycheck every week.
And he owns a recording studio. He owns a public he owns a label. He owns everything. So it's
Yep.
not like Billy Corgan, oh wow wow wow, this millionaire going on billionaire is gonna lose his money. Oh wow wow wow, I feel so bad you lost $1 million, Billy. Fuck
Well,
off.
he can afford it. He can afford to lose it. If he can't lose it, nobody can, right?
Sorry, folks, I just have no sympathy for Billy Corgan. I just I don't.
Yeah. But he looks like Uncle Fester. I'll give him that.
Doesn't he though? All right, folks. That's gonna do it for us this week. We're coming back next week.
Guess we will be back.
I'm sure some of you will be happy to hear that. Others of you, maybe not so much.
Thank you.
Uh, Russ, thanks for showing up for work today. Folks, we'll be back next week.
Bye
Everybody have a
bye.
good night and a great week and enjoy the wrestling. Like, comment, follow on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube. Bye bye.
Bye bye.